Early
Yeah,
future.
few comments. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen so far.
About 10 minutes.
You bet. All right, Zach Volker. I'm the animation lead at Infinity Ward.
In the presentation, you're talking about the gameplay driving the tech.
Mhm.
What is the gameplay, if you like, that is driving the tech? What are the sort of the things that have pushed what you've done to the engine?
You know, we can't talk a lot about the specific gameplay things that are going in because those are really geared around different levels in the single-player campaign. What we can talk about are some of the smaller gameplay things that we're playing with, like the mantle system, like the sliding system. So fast mantle, what that allows you to do is overcome an obstacle while maintaining your momentum. Previously, in our last title, whenever you would hit a wall and get over it, it was kind of a clunky affair. It would kill your momentum. You would have kind of an awkward up and over thing. And this allows you really, from a gameplay standard, to continue on your trajectory and not feel like, oh, I need to make a decision. I have a wall in my way. Do I risk getting shot by going over it, or do I have to go around it? And now it really opens that up and gives you the freedom to choose either as a valid option. The sliding mechanic is great because it allows you to get in and slide and end up in a crouch position. So you can run and you see some crouch cover. You can run, hit the slide, skid into home base there behind the cover, end up in a crouch position ready to return fire, but with a much smaller profile. If you continue to hold down the button that initiates the slide, you can actually transition also into a prone. So you could then go from sprint to prone with the press of a button very seamlessly. So those are some neat gameplay features that we're working on. As far as some of the tech that that Mark spoke about up on the stage, we've never felt that tech itself really has limited us from a gameplay perspective. Very rarely would we ever come to a situation where we said, oh, if we only had more horsepower, then we could do this cool gameplay feature. Usually the problem comes in, we've done a cool gameplay feature and it doesn't have the level of immersion that we originally anticipated that it would. And we don't have the resources left in the scene to add to the things we wanted to. So now, we can do things like add more characters on screen if necessary. We can increase the fidelity of the particles or the lighting quality or just the number of polygons on screen. Those things we now have at our disposal to aid in the immersion of the scene and the really attacking what we call the believability of what is going to make this really look good and believable, and can we sell that this is really happening to you. So from a gameplay perspective, this is really important in how we use our tech because it gives us the benefit now of making sure that no matter what you buy the game on, a next-gen hardware, a current-gen console, or PC, you're going to get the same gameplay experience. And that's really important from our standpoint, is we wanted to make sure that no one felt shortchanged, that, oh, I'm not getting the really cool gameplay because I don't have the money to buy a new console. We didn't want to shortchange people like that. We wanted to make sure that everyone felt that they were getting the full experience. Now, if you go with the current gen, it's not going to be the full experience in that visually it will not be as impressive. Say you have a PC that can handle the higher hardware requirements, or you have a next generation console system. But from a gameplay perspective, you can feel safe and satisfied knowing that you're getting exactly what we wanted you from a gameplay standpoint.
Okay, you said about you never felt the engine sort of held you back at all. I mean, just playing devil's advocate, it seems like there's a few iterations where people kind of going, why are you still using the same engine? Why are you still using the same engine? Was that simply because you could do what you wanted with the engine, or because you knew how much work it takes to make a new engine, and that was not the time for sort of previous games?
That's a good question. Developing a new engine comes out of a necessity of something. So it comes out of a necessity of, well, we have now an open bandwidth that can accept more things going on, and so maybe the current engine can't push that. Or it comes out of a certain particular feature that we really want to create that we haven't been able to in the past. So looking at our current situation, focusing more on the next generation of hardware, we are now going to have the bandwidth to be able to handle more things, and our engine just can't handle as much as we'd like to throw at it right now. So that was really what necessitated the need to go on to a new engine. It's a fine line when you define new engine and augmentations to an engine, right? So what you want to be careful of is making too much of a distinction about a new engine you know, as we develop and we add features, at what point does it become a new engine? Because it's impossible to develop a new engine from the ground up in a 2-year cycle. It's just you would need an army of 200 engineers. It doesn't happen. So what we do is we say, okay, what are the things that are significant and that we would say are encompassing of the engine or of its visual quality? And are those being upgraded in a significant way? All right, then I think this warrants that we've got a new engine on our hands. So it's a tricky question.
Can you say what tech the engine's built on? Is it?
Well, the original engine years ago was built on
Quake.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yeah.
Quake engine.
Yeah.
We've done so many new engines and overhauls on top of that I don't even know if any of that still
But
exists.
is it built sort of built from the original tech, or is it a new, not Unreal, or it's not, you switch sort of the basic technology?
Yeah, again, remember when we're talking about a new engine, we're talking about upgrading significant systems in that engine. We're not talking about throwing it away and saying we're starting from the ground up.
Yeah.
Right? So it comes down to the systems that we're augmenting and upgrading and trying to decide what is this level of significance of this upgrade. So there is certainly going to be remnants here and there of pieces of our last engine where it was appropriate that, you know what, this doesn't need any changing. It's good the way it is, because at Infinity Ward we make a very clear point to make sure that we only upgrade the things that are necessary for driving the type of experience and gameplay that we feel we want to push for that project. So just because we could do some cool 3D smoke that if you walk through it, it poofs and moves to the side, if that doesn't aid in the gameplay experience that we're trying to push, then we're not going to pursue that technology, even though we would have the capabilities of it. We make sure that the engine is built the way we want it to be built, so it handles as efficiently as possible the things that we want to show on screen.